in terms of the sticks and whatnot, to start the initial league with also a series of clinics, and then really kind of to just get the program rolling, at which point then the parks team would assume, overseeing the league play from that point on.
You know what, the favorite part is that they're all different. So they have different nuances, different paint jobs, different things that you look forward to that are unique to each.
So we're going to have a combination of free play, obviously open to the public, and then in coordination with the Lightning, we will be working on actual league play, where we can create some structured programming depending on season.
As we know, having kids, giving them an activity, something to do, is a great thing. This place will be loaded with kids every night.
I love Pasco County. There's a ton of Lightning fans in Pasco County, and there's a ton of engaged kids as well.
It's just one more wonderful thing that we're bringing to Pasco County to give our residents a really high quality of life.
Hi, I'm Brian Taylor with Pasco County Parks, Recreation, and Natural Resources. While many of you have been staying at home helping stop the spread of COVID-19, we've been using this unique time working in all our parks to enhance your experience. Let's take a look. On your next visit to J.B. Starkey Wilderness Park, you can walk the new shell path leading to the beautiful new bird blind. And in Key Vista Nature Park, you'll see how grant funding made it possible to protect the gopher tortoises as we wrapped up this important habitat restoration project. You'll also notice big improvements at the Pet Cemetery in Land O'Lakes, where our team has worked to spruce up the space, resetting headstones and removing debris. We've knocked one out of the park for our athletes with major improvements to baseball, softball, and soccer fields in several of our county parks. And our team members are taking a paintbrush to almost everything, including picnic tables, concession stands, even our rec centers. There is no doubt that from trimming trees and repairing fences to pressure washing and building new gardens and playgrounds, you will see big changes on your next visit. And a huge thank you to our parks team for stepping up to help the children of frontline workers by hosting a critical day camp when they had no other place to go. When we reopen, we hope your experience is even better than it was before. We can't wait for you to see what we've done. For more information on our parks, programs, and services, visit us online at mypasco.net.
Oh, hey, Wendy.
Hi, Nate.
Did you notice that guy's here all the time?
He is. It must be his favorite Pasco place.
What's your favorite Pasco place?
Well, besides here at the Hudson Regional Library, my favorite Pasco place is the animal shelter in Land O'Lakes. Do you have a favorite place, Nate?
Sure do. My favorite Pasco place is J.B. Starkey Wilderness Park.
This park is awesome. What's your favorite Pasco place?
Located on the Gulf of Mexico in the Tampa Bay area, Pasco is part of a 9-county region referred to as the Nature Coast. Of its 742 square miles, the county has a total of 230,000 acres of open space and more than 100 square miles of managed recreational facilities, including public parks, 4 artificial reefs, more than 25 golf courses, and 3 state-designed canoe trails. The possibilities to enjoy the outdoors and nature are unlimited. The Pasco County Library System offers residents a place of discovery. In every branch, fresh approaches, unique programs, and services are creating new and diverse opportunities for personal and community betterment. Pasco County continues to place among the nation's leaders for growth. The county has seen the rise of planned communities in Wesley Chapel and Land O'Lakes. Our open spaces like farms and wetlands are preserved, even as we cultivate our neighborhoods and such innovative retail destinations as the Shops at Wiregrass. With its expanding infrastructure and transportation system, excellent schools, diverse retail and entertainment venues, Pasco County is a community of open spaces and vibrant places.
today's the grand opening and the ribbon cutting for the Wiregrass Ranch Sports Campus in Pasco County.
1, 2, 3.
Well, this is a huge impact. Obviously, this is something we've been working on for a long time, and now we're putting our TDT dollars to use. And again, TDT dollars are paid for by visitors that come to our hotels. So this facility was built 100% with those TDT dollars from people that came from outside the area, not a dime from our local taxpayers here in Pasco County. So this 100,000 square foot indoor facility is going to bring in youth sports from all over the nation, if not over the world, to come here on the weekends. And when they come here, they're going to bring their families, they're going to bring their spectators, and they're going to shop in our stores, they're going to eat in our restaurants, they're going to buy our gas, they're going to stay in our hotels. It's going to be a huge economic impact for our local community and our citizens here in the county.
It allows us to really position the county as a major player in the sporting world.
So we're basically coming in, and our number one mission is to create an economic impact for Pasco County through events and tourism, and secondary to provide programs for the local community through basketball, soccer, cheer, and volleyball, and then some other sports that we can add in after that. Also creating an academic portion to make sure our kids are academically set to get through high school.
It's really a community-based facility, so our kids are going to grow up here knowing that this place is home. One thing I love about the campus is it's multifaceted. So there's so many things that you can do here outside of just sports.
Every event that comes through the building, they feel like this facility was made for them.
I'm super excited. You know, also being the chair of the Tourism Development Council, this is something that's been on my radar for some time. Just ecstatic that it's happening.
Creating a diverse, vibrant, and water-efficient landscape improves our homes and businesses while protecting the environment, benefiting our whole community. The Tampa Bay WaterWise Award is designed to recognize residential and commercial businesses for their outstanding Florida-friendly and water-wise landscaping, and their continued efforts to promote Florida-friendly principles within our communities. Today, I'm excited for you to meet our Pasco County winners as they receive their well-deserved awards.
So again, Mr. Jackson, on behalf of Pasco County, the Board of County Commissioners, and the citizens of Pasco County, I want to congratulate you for the 2020 WaterWise Award. So what Mr. Jackson is doing and Mrs. Jackson are doing here when it comes to conserving water, but having just a beautiful landscape with native Florida plants is something that's pretty amazing.
Well, it means a lot, but not just for us. It really means a lot because we've been trying for years to encourage others to do the same thing we've done here. Native plants are more in tune with our Florida environment, and there's been a major decline in wildlife here in Florida over the last number of years, and it's frightening. But by planting native plants, they're far more supportive of native wildlife. And that's a very important consideration. It's something that we can do for wildlife. At the same time, we make our yard some place we can go and enjoy it.
Hi, I'm Commissioner Fitzpatrick, and we are here live today with Heartwood Preserve Conservation Cemetery, and we are here to say thank you to all of their wonderful volunteers and staff, and to Miss Laura Starkey. We would like to present, on behalf of Pasco County, we would like to present the WaterWise 2020 Award as the non-residential award. Thank you. It's very important that we can reuse and conserve our water so we can teach our kids of the future that they can water their gardens, build community gardens, they can grow their own food, and we're reusing our natural resources.
We're so happy to be part of this award, and it's just, I think it's a great thing that Pasco County and Tampa Bay Water is doing. It helps provide a fun incentive for people to do more native landscaping and more water efficient landscaping, but this is about the landscaping around our building, which we took care to make sure that we purchased only and put in only Florida native plants that are appropriate to this ecosystem. So we're excited.
The Tampa Bay WaterWise Awards program is always looking for the best landscapes using WaterWise design and maintenance practices. If you want to showcase your vibrant, attractive, and water-efficient Florida-friendly landscape, visit TampaBayWaterWise.org to apply today, or call the University of Florida Institute of Food and Agricultural Sciences, Extension, Pasco County Office for more information on Florida-friendly landscaping.
We were having,
Hi, Denise.
we're having such a good time.
Social
there.
hour's over.
Okay. And I'll call the meeting to order. So if we can stand for a moment of silence and the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. A smaller crowd today, huh? So, good afternoon, everyone. I'd like to call to order the hybrid virtual Planning Commission meeting of June 24th, 2021. I'd like to remind everyone, please silence all electronic devices. And for those of you who are attending virtually, mute your microphone while not speaking. Make sure mine's. And so at this time, Madam Clerk, could we have the roll call?
Jamie Girardi.
Here.
Don Anderson.
Here.
Peter Hansel.
Here.
Roberto Size. Christopher Poole.
Here.
Christopher Poole.
Here.
Richard Tonella, representing Chris Williams.
Here.
And Chairman Charles Gray.
Here, and you got Roberto Size, right?
Yes, I got him. Thank you.
Good.
Mr. Chair, before we get into the procedures, I just wanted to make two general announcements. At the last meeting, the Board of County Commissioners amended the rules for hybrid virtual meetings and made two significant changes. One is that we will no longer have a kiosk outside of the boardrooms, and that's primarily because they've opened up the boardrooms to maximum capacity. As you can see, there's no longer anything stopping anybody from sitting here. And the other is that we will no longer read emails into the record as a form of public participation. You may still receive emails from citizens that have interested issues, and emails may still be forwarded to you, and if they're ex parte communications, you should still forward those to Denise, so they're part of the record, but they will no longer be read into the record or received and filed unless you all want to receive and file a particular email.
Gotcha.
Does that make sense?
Yep, it does.
Those were the two major changes that the board.
All right, thank you, David. Any questions? Anybody have any questions?
No.
Okay. So for those of you who haven't attended one of our meetings regularly, the Planning Commission is appointed by the Board of County Commissioners, and we meet twice a month. The Planning Commission serves as a local planning agency. The Planning Commission holds the public hearings and transmits to the Board of County Commissioners recommendations on comprehensive plan amendments, land development code amendments, rezonings, and conditional use requests. The Planning Commission is the final decision-making body for special exceptions, certain appeals, variance requests, and certain alternative standard requests. However, final decisions may be appealed to the Board of County Commissioners. If anyone is in opposition to any comprehensive plan amendment, land development code amendment, rezoning, conditional use, or any item where the Planning Commission transmits a recommendation to the Board of County Commissioners, it's important for you to attend the appropriate Board of County Commissioner meeting. I believe we have some minutes to approve.
I'll make a motion to approve the meeting minutes from the June 3rd hybrid virtual meeting.
I'll second that. We have a motion, and we have a second. Any discussion on the motion? All in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The motion carries. First, we'll take public comment for items not on the agenda from in-person participants and WebEx participants who have pre-registered and are currently on queue. Denise, is there anyone in queue at this time?
We have no one on queue to provide any public comment on items that are not on the agenda today.
Okay.
And we may want to check in the audience if, okay, I see the person shaking head no.
No, okay. So public hearing procedures are as follows. In-person participants attending through WebEx, including the applicants who have pre-registered for the hybrid virtual planning commission meeting, will be notified by county staff when they will be permitted to speak. Applicants will be limited to 5 minutes and other participants 3 minutes unless additional time is approved at least 24 hours prior to this meeting. In-person participants and WebEx participants must announce the following items before speaking, and at that time they will be sworn by the clerk. Their name, their address, the agenda item number, or the agenda title. And then they'll have 3 minutes or 5 minutes, and the timer will start. Today we have 1 continuance item and 3 public hearing items on consent. These items will be approved by roll call vote unless the item is pulled from the consent agenda. Once a motion is made on the consent agenda, the Planning Commission member who makes the motion will state his name. The Planning Commissioner member who seconds the motion will state their name. And the clerk will call the roll. Items PC1 through PC4 are consent agenda items. Madam Clerk, do we have proof of publication?
The items were published in the Tampa Bay Times on April 28th, 2021 and June 9th, 2021.
Okay. So any questions from the dais? If not, Denise?
Good afternoon, Planning Commission members. Denise Hernandez, Planning and Development. The first item is PC1, and that's PDD 210427 for CPAL 2101 Sunwest Park PD. This item comes to you with a continuance request to the July 22nd, 2021 Planning Commission meeting at 1:30 in Newport Richey.
All right, so we have a request for a continuance.
And the county is the applicant, so it's a staff.
Okay. A staff-generated
Yes.
request, okay. So do we have a motion to approve the request for continuance?
So moved. Chris Poole.
Okay.
I'll second. Jamie Girardi.
So we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion on the motion? All in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? All right, the motion carries. All right.
Following item is PC2, that's PDD 212093. It's a variance request, 6016 Delaware Ave, Land Trust, 11836 Little Road. This is for a reduction in the required minimum lot area from 15,000 square feet to 14,006 square feet, which if approved would allow the applicant to apply for rezoning to C2 General Commercial District on a parcel that is less than 15,000 square feet in lot area. This comes to you with a recommendation of approval with conditions from the Planning and Development Department as contained in your agenda packet.
Okay, and is the applicant present?
Mr. Jim O'Brien is online on WebEx.
Okay, is there anybody here to object? So Mr. O'Brien, there doesn't appear to be anybody here to object. You want to leave it on consent? I assume you do. Not hearing a response.
I'm sure he wants to remove it off consent.
Huh?
Just kidding.
Yeah. Just giving him the chance. Okay, so let's go to the next one.
The following item is PC3, PDD 210426. This is a comprehensive plan amendment. CPAL 2102 for PAW Materials. It's providing for a comprehensive plan text amendment to sub-area policy, FLU 7.1.25, PAW Materials. And this comes to you with a recommendation for you to find it consistent with the Pasco County Comprehensive Plan and recommend approval to the Board of County Commissioners.
All right. Is there anyone here to speak on this? See no one?
We do have the applicant available on WebEx.
Okay. I assume they want to leave it on consent as well?
Yes.
So is that it for consent? All right.
Yes, sir.
So do I have a motion to approve the consent agenda as submitted?
I'll make a motion. Don Anderson.
I'll second it. Peter Hansel.
Okay, so we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion on the motion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Nobody's opposed. The motion carries.
Thank you.
Okay, you're welcome.
Good afternoon, Planning Commission members. It's been a long time since I've been here. It's just great to see your faces again. For those that are new and don't know me, my name is Ernie Monaco. I'm the manager of special districts. There are 2 dependent special districts in Pasco County, VOPH, Village of Pasadena Hills, and Connected City. And today I'm coming before you as a county-initiated map and text amendment to the Land Development Code. And the map amendment is actually going to be the Master Roadway Plan, which is an exhibit within the Land Development Code. So I just wanted to show you that this is within this, even though they're 2 separate items. Let me, it's PDD 21-321, and let me read the actual ordinance, proposed ordinance. An ordinance by the Pasco County Board of County Commissioners amending the Pasco County Land Development Code, Chapter 600, Overlay and Special District Areas, Section 602.8.T, VOPH, Development and Administration Review Fees, and map change to Exhibit 602-E, VOPH Master Roadway Plan, Exhibit A, Tyndall Road, East-West Street, a right-of-way realignment, and other amendments as necessary for internal consistency, providing for applicability, repealer, severability, inclusion into the Land Development Code, and an effective date. We come before you with a recommended committee action. We recommend approval to the Board of County Commissioners, the map amendment for the realignment of Tyndall Road right-of-way in the VOPH Master Roadway Plan, and also the text amendment in the Land Development Code, VOPH Stewardship Ordinance, Section 602.8.T, for the distribution of funds received from the Development Review and Administration fee. I want to just make a side note, it's important, and I'll get into the more details of this later, that the Planning and Development Department does not recommend the additional condition that was requested on May 19th from the VOPH Planning and Policy Committee for a specific dedicated VOPH reviewer. And we'll get into the reasons for that, but we've tailored this to the way what the Planning Department and the county would like you to do. Next. So we'll talk about first is the right-of-way alignment, realignment actually. I don't have the clicker on me, but anyway, you can see in the southern border, there's a blue line. Now we're going to blow it up to the next one. You can see the next one. It's more easier to read. The original right-of-way is located in the southern part. The proposed right-of-way is more straightening. You can see it straightens up a bit. And the original right-of-way actually bisected the public utilities water treatment facilities. This was on the Highway Vision Plan, Map 7, I think 36, a while back. When we did the VOPH Master Roadway Plan, it just got carried into it. Well, recently, a few months ago, the Public Utilities Department basically notified us and said, said to us, we can't do that. You can't bisect this because of security issues, and we have to also expand the water treatment facilities. You need to please move the right-of-way. It can still be on our property, but it cannot go bisecting. We don't want public there, basically. So we looked at the map again, and we basically said, well, that makes a lot of sense. If you see it starts, let me see if I can get the light on here. Okay. If you start from the left, you can see the road goes straight, and there's various properties that it impacts. We've sent out public notices. We put ads out in the paper. We actually put signs up as well, so people are aware of it. And we've not received any comments or feedback related to that. And I think partly because this actually, in the long run, benefits the actual landowners as well as the county. And on that exhibit here, it just explains what the impacts are going to be. Okay. Oops, hold on. No, it was back. Hold on a second. No, not working. No. Okay. Well, anyway, maybe it's something. Let me go back to the next one. Hold on. Next. I'm sorry. I have to go back again. This is it where I want to be. Okay. So what's happening is we're shifting the future 70-foot right-of-way on Tyndall Road, about 872 feet. I just lost me. North of where it originally was. So the original alignment was basically on the southern part of this exhibit. We're shifting it north, okay, to prevent the future public road from bisecting the PCU water treatment plant expansion that's going to serve the VOPH. For security purposes, water treatment facilities must prohibit public access to and from the site. The future right-of-way will be relocated to the northern boundary edge of the PCU parcel, 100% within the PCU parcel. Some property owners have actually shorter right-of-way that they have to dedicate now. I think the first one because it's straightening it out. Other property owners actually have more marketable lots as a result of it. And generally, it's a positive thing. And it ends basically at the entrance of the VOPH Super Park. So we still have access to the Super Park. Anyway, that's the actual map amendment, which we would like you to consider and recommend to the BCC for approval.
Ernie, just real quick question. That on the east end there of the new alignment, is that a wetland there to the north?
I think there is some slight, I know there's a drainage ditch on the PCU property as well, but like I said, we will work on that when we do the actual details and that needs to be done. So, anything else? I can move on to the actual text amendment.
So you're getting rid of this southerly road?
Yes, the one that curves south.
Yeah.
Right, we're getting rid of that, and we're going to use the northern road. Now, this is just a concept. We don't have the actual right, we're just generally going to follow this.
Okay, so, and all these property owners have been notified?
Yes. I actually wrote them letters, individual letters. Please, I explained it to them. I explained the impacts to them. I gave them the maps. I gave them a full package, and
okay.
I had received nothing in response that says a yes, no, whatever. And invited them to the meeting as well. Okay? Let me go to the next one then. Item 2. Oh, man, it jumps around a lot. Oh, thank you. Well, one more. Hang on. Okay.
I'm starting to like that one. Yeah.
This is dancing on me,
You said they said you were going to put on shows.
Yeah, it's up here. Item 2 is actually about the development review and administration fee that was approved by the BCC back in January 2021, January. And we actually allocated $400 per residential unit. With that, if you're familiar with this, everyone who comes to develop in villages of Pasadena Hills has a special fee now that they're paying for the development review and administration fee for the special district. What we unfortunately did not do was explain how it was going to be distributed to where it was going to go. And so we had to take a look at this again, and now we're coming before you to show you where that money is going and what we think is the best way to get it done, because there's some requirements that we do have to implement. So what we're saying is breaking it down to $400, $200 a unit is going to pay back the property owners group. For those people that may not be familiar with this, it's a group of landowners that got together way back in 2008, and they basically created these plans, enabling documents as an area plan, which is a good plan. And then they were updated a year ago, and I think I may have come before you back then, okay? But they've invested a lot of money basically for the long-term planning. Now, typically, the county doesn't pay for those things. We offer them planning fee credits. We did this in Connected City, and we would like to do this again. We're going to do this again in the villages of Pasadena Hills. And they need to get paid back for their investment, and we do it by deducting the fees that come from when they go to get the horizontal development reviews. And so we're going to take half of that $400 immediately off the top and pay off all the credits over the period of 50 years. But the way we're going to do it is be a lot shorter, because it makes more sense to get it as much as possible, get them paid back. So $200 of that goes to that. $125 is going to fund the operations and the management of the fee credit registry. Just as in a nutshell, is that the fee credit registry is a new instrument, basically, that you put your credits, you register your credits, and anyone that comes later that wants to develop has to really buy the credits at par. So when you're paying development review fees, like whether it's mobility fees or whether it's planning fee credits, you have to actually go to the registry, see who has those credits, whatever they cost, whatever that person needs, goes and pays those credits, then comes in and basically wipes out that credit, and everyone pretty much ultimately gets that credit paid off, which is it's a very innovative plan. I really believe it's going to work, and it actually helps as an incentive for developers to come and say, you know what, I can actually get paid earlier now. I'm going to get the credits and sell them at par rather than get 50 cents on the dollar. And so the development community really loves the idea of actually trying to implement this, and we're serious about doing this. So I actually went out and got a pretty much of a bid about who's going to do this. I haven't finalized anything yet because I want to make sure all the approvals are in before we do this. And it was about $125 a unit is what it's going to cost to basically run and operate this fee credit registry. If you look at the website, there's actually 2 POG members that have already registered on the website. It's before this we've actually officially begun, but we wanted to make sure that we didn't stall. We wanted to make sure it's moving ahead. And then finally, the $75 a unit, the remainder of the $200 plus the $125 is $75, initially goes to cover the cost of the preliminary development plan, development review, and district administration support staff. Now, there's absolutely no controversy with the way this is distributed. Even though the timing of the 75 hurts the planning department, because basically there's a lot of activity. The fees are larger, but again, ultimately in the end, the $400 covers all these things. They will cover everything over the 50-year plan. Now, the $50 for 1,000 square feet of non-residential, that's not a significant number. It's about $100-something thousand over 50 years. That goes straight to the Planning Development Department for staff time review. The controversy is...
How much did you say was going to go back to the planning department?
Well, the planning department in the initial years gets, out of that $400, the initial years is $75. Once the POG is paid back, they get the $200 plus the $75. So what's actually happening is there's a delay that the planning department gets, but ultimately everybody does get paid back.
But who has to pay the?
Who pays it? Everybody who wants to develop in VOPH contributes $400 per unit. Everyone, every landowner that wants to get entitlements. And this financial plan works on about 80% of the entitlements get built. So if 100% get built, you're actually ahead. But at least at 80% only get built, everybody's paid off. Reimbursed. I shouldn't say paid off, sounds terrible. Reimbursed for what they put in.
Planning and Development Department gets this funds, right?
They get the $75 initially for the first few years until the POG is paid off, and then $275 per residential unit for the remainder.
But that's $20 a square foot.
No, we're not talking about square feet. Square feet is the $50 one. The planning department automatically gets...
It's $50 per 1,000 square feet. When you divide that, it comes out to $20 a square foot. I'm just asking, is that a reasonable price? I mean, if I had to pay it, I'd consider some concerns about that. That's all.
I can't really answer that because that was what the team worked together and gave that fee, and the BCC approved that. So that is a fee that's already been officially approved.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Ernie, are these fees these are development review fees, so that $400 a unit's paid when they submit for their site permit?
No, yeah, when they sit at preliminary development plan approval stage, site plans come in. They've already got their entitlements. Now they want to develop, and that's when they pay those fees. It's horizontal and they get the credits for the horizontal. We're talking about right now is planning, long-term planning development fees. I don't want to confuse this with other things like mobility fees and things like that, okay? This is just horizontal development fees to pay POG investment for creating and doing all the work related to the area plan that's in these enabling documents.
And to be clear, the fees that Ernie's talking about were already imposed and approved by the board. What's changing is the allocation of those fees and what's creditable against those fees. But the total fee you pay is not changing.
So the property owners group, but you said they're going to be paid back. How much are they going to be paid back?
The full amount. It's exhibit, if you look under the stewardship ordinance exhibit, hang on, I think it's 602E. Let me look and see where it is. You're right, exhibit D, I'm sorry. There's a schedule right here of VOPH property owner groups credits against future admin fees.
Okay.
Everything they put in on this list is what's going to get paid back ultimately.
Okay.
Okay, and because the fee credit registry and the land development code now says you are going to buy those at par when you need credits to pay your development fees. So that's cool.
And just so I understood you correctly, we'll pay them back, and then whatever's left, we get the full amount of that or whatever. Okay, thank you.
You want to say something?
Okay, so Terry Pitos, Planning and Development. I'm not that good at math. I think we've seen that in other public hearings. But at $50 per 1,000 square feet, that amounts to about 5 cents per square foot. So a nickel per square foot would go to the planning department for the non-residential aspect of this.
I knew in the end it wasn't that significant. It's about 100,000 over 50 years. It's not a lot of money, honestly, when you think about it. So thank you, Terry, for being the math whiz today. Okay, let me keep going here. Okay, so what's the purpose? Again, I want to just remind us, the annual operating funds are needed for the fee credit registry to actually operate and work and ensure success. The POG needs to redeem their planning fee credits that they've invested. Okay, our goal was to basically get them full payback within 10 years. They've already put in a lot of money back in 2008. They added more money in the 2019. We just want that, we just want them to need to be paid back. And 3, the additional funds are provided to the planning department to evaluate the VOPH development applications. So what's the impact on the property owners group? Half of the residents will be paid at preliminary development plan approval, pays back the credits immediately. And based upon development scenarios, and what I did is I went to various individuals that own land and also consultants, and I looked at assuming there's no recession, okay? No one can do that, but basically making it stable, looking what the next 10 years would be like. Because the goal was to see if we could pay them back in 10 years, and that's where that $200 came in. We looked at the numbers that would come in, multiplied it, and said, here, we think we can get it, you guys paid back in 10 years. So that's why they didn't have any problem with this at all. Now, I'm going to talk a little bit about something else that happened, though. So the VOPH Planning and Policy Committee, back in May 19th, they recommended approval of the proposed MAP amendment, because that's not controversial, and everybody, it's a win-win for everybody. The second thing is the approval of the text amendment to distribute the development review fee as proposed. They added a condition in red here, with the condition that a VOPH review planner be designated. Okay, they said, well, we have no problem with the actual distribution, but we want to have a dedicated person that only handles the VOPH. This is really, really difficult for the county to accept and the planning department to actually implement, because how difficult it is. I'm going to go over why. And I have Terry here, who's the planning department director, to back up and say exactly, because we went through this for weeks, back and forth. Can we do this? Can we not? Can we not? So the PDD does not recommend a dedicated VOPH reviewer. Why? The unpredictability of the preliminary development plan submissions make this too difficult to implement. Government agencies cannot hire and lay off staff depending upon immediate and unpredictable workloads. What that means is some seasons you've got a lot of VOPH development, other seasons you don't. What do you do with the person? You hire them, you fire them? It's not appropriate for government agencies to do that. You cannot just have one person only be the only VOPH person. We actually have a few people that do this, and also you have to remember, and when reviews come in, they don't just go to the planning department. They get farmed out to whatever the situation is, and everybody, it's like a team of people comment on it. This condition would designate one person to handle all VOP projects, and honestly, the first few years, the $75 for residential unit barely covers one planner or reviewer. This would likely result in a bottleneck, as a dedicated person would receive every project. It's very difficult to do this. Depending upon particular applications, many specialized experts are involved. I spoke a little bit about that. Land planners, transportation planners, review technicians. Again, they're in different departments. Sometimes you get the Parks and Natural Resources coming in. It's just making this too difficult to track and document, et cetera. The intent of receiving the review fee was to compensate for the extra work needed to operate a VOPH review, not necessarily to fund a specific position. The review fee would also be used for technology and equipment needs to facilitate any technicalities for these reviews. It isn't just about hiring a dedicated person. A lot of the fees come for other things. And the existing PDD revenues must be used to meet service delivery needs. So it's very hard, really, honestly. It's very difficult to implement. Terry, did you want to go and make a comment on this? Because it is really important for them to understand the impacts.
I would reserve comment if there were any particular questions, but I think Ernie's done a good explanation.
Why are they asking for a dedicated reviewer?
I've had conversations with that. I think because currently there's a backlog, and they're afraid that that backlog is not going to get solved. But right now, Terry, do you want to talk a little about how you solved the backlog temporarily?
So right now the county is experiencing a great deal of volume in terms of project work that's being submitted to the Planning and Development Department, and also to other departments in their business lines as well. And so I think the idea is that if there is someone dedicated to VOPH, that the response time would be much lower than the rest of than the response time that the rest of the county is currently experiencing. That's the idea, but the reality is that it would not work out like that. It's far more complicated, as noted by Ernie on the slide, to dedicate one particular individual. It would be there would be a lot of downtime in between, and then when the projects do pick up, for VOPH specifically, nobody else would be allowed to work on them, theoretically, because there's a dedicated individual specifically paid to do that work. These other individuals are not. They're dealing with whatever other volume is taking place.
I think if I could, since I was at the meeting, I think their general thought was that since they're paying an extra fee that is not paid throughout the rest of the county, that entitles them to their own reviewer.
That was my question.
Yeah, that's basically their thought process.
Okay. All right. So therefore, the recommended committee action is to recommend approval to the Board of County Commissioners that the map amendment of the realignment of Tyndall Road right-of-way in the VOPH master roadway plan, and then it's basically you have to determine it's also consistent with the Pasco County Comprehensive Plan. So we can recommend approval for the actual right-of-way realignment. And the second thing is the text amendment in the Land Development Code VOPH stewardship ordinance for the way for the distribution of the funds received from the development review fee. And again, it's also consistent with the comprehensive plan. It's in the agenda memo as well, but I'm just sort of making it easier here. But make that recommendation without the condition for a dedicated VOPH reviewer in the planning department. That's what we're asking you to do. Approve the map amendment in the master roadway plan, and make a recommendation that we distribute the funds as we have said. The $400 gets distributed without having the planning department have to hire a designated person. That's what you need to discuss, and that's what you need to vote on, and that's what you need to make a recommendation on.
Ernie, just for clarity, so the $75 still goes to the planning development department, it just doesn't go for allocation of a specific employee?
Right. They distribute as needed, as you see fit. Like even my own work schedule, I do a lot between Connected City and VOPH. You know, and it just depends upon the need. You get a developer call from VOPH, I put on my VOPH hat. You know, when Connected City's on, you put on my CC hat. So it depends what happens, you know.
Yeah, I mean, I know it's unprecedented times for the county, and this isn't obviously the forum for the discussion, but I know there's a lot of developers out there that are getting extremely concerned with lengths of review time, lengths of pre-application meeting times, because they see the fees that they're paying, and they know those fees are getting collected, yet there's not allocation to hire additional staff to support the workload. So understand we're all, I mean, everybody here understands the problem, and it's a great problem to have, but it's a problem that's out there, and I just wanted to make sure that it's getting taken care of, and I think this will even help further, so.
Yeah, I think I can speak to that just a little bit, and you're right, fees are being paid, but there is a bit of a lag time with government hiring and whatnot, with budgets rather, I should say.
Right.
Is we have to get our budget approved. It'll get approved in September, and there are some tentative business, what's the word I'm looking for, all of BPI, business plan initiatives, thank you. There are some business plan initiatives that are included in the 22 budget that will help PDD advance in obtaining more resources and more people.
Guys, I mean, again, you have great staff here, but I feel that they're under more and more stress every single day from everybody, and I worry for the people that are here as much as anything. I mean, I hear the frustration every time I call to bug them personally, so.
I'd just like to make a comment too. It's important to understand is that, you know, when new staff comes in, I usually meet with them, and I'll give like a few weeks of talking about what Connected City is and what VOPH is. The problem is that you get a few people, then the problem is if you just get one person, people leave, and that's the reality of this. You have to distribute the knowledge base for a team to make this really function. Honestly, I just think there'd be worse bottlenecks.
Sure.
But anyway.
No, I agree.
It's up to you guys. What recommendation you would like to give?
So Ernie, in our memo that's provided to us, is under the total estimated disbursements by 2065, there's a long-term planning credit for POG of 1.6 million and change. So that is what the $200 fee.
Yeah. Okay. The way this is distributed, we could have taken that 1.6 million. That's what the POG invested.
Right.
Divided by 50 years, and it'd be a very easy thing for us to do.
Right.
But that's not how development occurs. You get it in big clumps, or you get a recession, and we felt that, you know, let's try and get this debt. Like in Connected City, it was the same idea. We just said, look, we know that a particular developer did a lot of the planning, long-term planning work, and we wanted to make sure that he got credits for that because we didn't want to be out of pocket and give them money to do the long-term planning study. It's easier for us to give them credits. When development is strong, entitlements go up, or the site plans go up, you get more money in the pot, you can distribute it. So that's why it's broken down by a per unit play. And then the $200 was actually worked out to get it over a 10-year period. That's how we came up with that number.
Okay.
Okay, any other questions from anybody on the dais?
I'm just curious, what's the percentage at this point that's been?
At Connected City?
Well,
Or
you're
where?
talking about the 80.
80%? Oh, how many entitlements have come in? Oh gosh, I don't have that number off the top of my head.
Curious.
But I know we need 33,000 units, And how many are, I have to look, I have a VOPH tracker, I just don't have those numbers, you know.
Well, we'll wait for you to get it, Ernie.
Well, next time I'm here, I'll tell you what they are.
Okay. Anything else?
No, sir.
No? Anybody? Pete?
The only thing you comment about your workload. Is there a possibility that you could contract with a vendor out there that could do some of the same work and then therefore kind of catch you up? I mean, there's got to be a corporation or a business or a private entity that could bring in some people, can do the work, you contract that work out for a short period of time, and you only need that manpower for that short period of time anyway. You don't need it for, I don't know, for whatever period of time. That's...
No, that's a good point. And Terry, you want to comment on that?
Sure. To a certain extent, you've already seen that in the slide. The $125 to operate the fee credit registry is dealing with an aspect of what you're talking about. Those are overall operational questions for the Planning and Development Department that we wouldn't necessarily discuss at a public hearing, though.
You kind of lost me.
Beyond what we've already explained, I should say.
Yeah, well...
So the fee, there's a,
well,
if
here's
you can
what
go
I
back
heard.
on the slideshow.
Here's what I heard, is that you have a workload that your current staff can't maintain, you charge fees, and yet you're reluctant to maybe contract it out? I don't know. Is that the reluctant to contract the work out to a vendor or?
We're contracting out 125 already to a fee credit register consultant. So we can do that. I mean, we're looking at it. We just knew we couldn't handle everything at once.
Right.
And so that's why it says 125 to fund the operations management of the fee credit registry. That's not we can do it internally. We're allowed to do it, and maybe we will. But right now, at this moment in time, it makes more sense to hire a consultant to do that portion of it.
We certainly have consultants that are able to facilitate and help us with that. But those are operational questions beyond the scope of this VOPH item.
Okay. Pete, that satisfactory answer?
Kind of like mixing water with dirt and making mud. Thank you.
Yeah, well, I think what they recognize is that it's a good suggestion. It's something probably they're going to look into, and they're doing some of that now, and it's something that they might want to internally do now more after this. But I guess what they were asking us to do now is just, they've gone this far. They'd like us to approve this, and then potentially they could maybe even consider your suggestion, Pete, which I think is a good one.
Yeah, let me just add to that. In my experience, consultants are best utilized for specific tasks or special projects because they take away from staff's time. So, like, I know staff use outside consultant for the design manual changes that are being processed, or something like airport zoning or something. I mean, some discrete task that would take away from staff's time but I would say normal standard review of zonings and MPDs is probably still best handled by internal staff. I mean, because it's difficult to
Because the review is more than just the planner. You distribute the review to various entities within different departments. There's a lot of coordination. It's just bigger than just a particular division within the planning department.
Mr. Chairman, I could just add a little bit to that. Because I'm part of that review process when it goes around. It's a huge undertaking, and you have to have people that. Part of the problem. 1/5 of the problem. But there's a lot of coordination, and there's, people have to know the county. They have to know the land use, the land development code. There's a lot to learn. You just can't farm that out. It's very difficult.
Okay. Well, I think it's important, Jamie, that you brought that to everyone's attention. I think we all know it. I just think it's sometimes a good idea to just vocalize it and realize that we, as members of the community and as planning and zoning board members, hear this all the time. That people are complaining all the time about the length of time it takes. Of course, they don't realize how much work goes into it, and I think you know, David's comment is that, you know, you can't just necessarily hire somebody off the street to do certain functions of the review process, because it takes a lot of expertise, a lot of background information, and
But also, and then staff has to manage that outside consultant, which also takes time.
Yeah.
So sometimes it takes more time to manage the outside consultant than just to do the work yourself.
yeah. But it's going to be important to find a way to speed up the process. There's no doubt about that.
Mr. Chairman, I'd also add that this is not unique to Pasco.
No, I know that.
You know, all
Believe
the
me.
surrounding counties are
Yeah.
experiencing the same.
Some are even worse.
Right,
Yeah.
absolutely. The
You know,
county immediately just south of us is much worse.
yeah. So, with that, do I hear a motion to approve the staff's recommendation on PC4
I'll make a motion, Don Anderson, to approve as presented by the staff.
I'll second. Chris Poole?
Okay, and that's with the condition that the planner not be designated, correct?
Correct.
It's also with the right-of-way alignment.
Okay.
Yeah.
Understood.
Well, you want both things?
Make sure you cover your bases.
Okay. So any other questions? If not, we have a motion and we have a second.
I do have one question. With Roberto Size online, do you still want me to call the roll?
Yes,
For
it
the
should be a roll call
motions
vote.
for all of them? We didn't do any for the minutes, the continued item, the consent, or this one?
Well, this is the major substantive items, so do it on this one.
Do it on this one? Okay,
Yeah,
thank
I
you.
mean, it's sort of irrelevant because they was all unanimous votes.
Okay,
I'm not too worried about it, but go ahead and do it on this one.
okay. All right, so Jamie Girardi,
Aye.
Dawn Anderson,
Aye.
Peter Hansel,
Aye.
Roberto Size, Christopher Poole,
Aye.
Richard Tonello,
Aye.
Chairman Charles Gray.
Aye.
Thank you.
Did we have a vote from him, from Roberta?
Ernie?
I didn't hear Roberto. He is online.
Can I get an electronic or hard copy of one of those
Yes.
COP? Yeah, be fascinating.
I'll get your email after this. Actually, Denise will get it.
A lot of numbers.
I'll bet.
All right, Ernie, are you,
I'm done. Thank you.
you're all
guys.
done? That was a beautiful job. Yeah. Yeah, I know. I'm waiting for it. I'm waiting for it. That's right.
We didn't warn the camera.
Okay. Would you like to introduce your new
Yes,
assistant?
may I say something?
Would you like to introduce your new assistant?
Oh, well, definitely not my assistant. But yeah, so I'm not sure if you've met Justin. Justin is our zoning intern extraordinaire.
Mm-hmm.
And he's doing an amazing job. And this is Justin behind me. And just wanted to mention to the Planning Commission that our next meeting is July 8th. And I know that there may be a couple of you that might be on vacation during that time. So, okay, yeah, saw your point. So it's July 8th in Dade City at 1:30. So I definitely need a quorum because it's going to be a busy Planning Commission meeting on July 8th.
Okay, I think we're all going to be out of town, aren't we?
I'll be present.
I won't be.
Yeah.
You will not.
I will not be. No, I'm out of town. I may be able to join it electronically if you need me to, or virtually if you need me to, but I'll be out of town physically.
I hate to put you all in the spot, but if I don't have a quorum, I need to maybe
Just
do
let me know.
something. So,
Let me know.
okay.
Can you hear me, guys?
Justin, you're welcome to the group. Nice to get to know you.
Roberto, yes, we can hear you. Did you have something to
Okay.
say?
No, I just wonder if I haven't tried to work with the microphone and I don't know what is going on, but it's fine. Just I want to make a minor comment in reference to the planning staff. I'm working right now with the City of Clearwater and Pinellas County, and both are working with outsourcing engineers licensed to review the plans and expedite the process. I just give you that as experience. And they reduced the time from 6 to 8 weeks, the first revision, to 2 weeks. So I just put that out there because it's something I believe is considered. Also, I have a permit in planning right now, and it's for over 3 months. And I understand you're extremely busy and you're doing your best, but maybe this will be a good tool. And I understand every single department have the intern procedures, and the idea is that the people who is in charge to review the plans are familiar with the county. But this is something that is out there based on how busy every single department, not just Pasco County, are at this point. And the good part of that is, of course, you're going to pay for a prime, but you don't need to pay for any type of benefits or anything like that, because you never know when you're going to be less busy. But just give it that.
Okay, thank you for your comment.
Roberta, while we have you, did you vote on the last item?
I vote and say yes.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, then I think we're at the end, right? Okay, so do I hear a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Hello, anybody else here?
Second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
Aye.
Here. Thank you, Roberto.
Thank you. Have a good day.
All right, thank you, everybody, for coming. And we'll see you on the 8th.
Wildlife depend on you to keep them healthy. Excess fertilizer, grass clippings, trash, oils, and pet waste wash into gutters and storm drains when it rains. Stormwater carries these pollutants directly into our lakes and rivers, creating an unhealthy environment for fish, waterfowl, and other aquatic animals. Storm drains are meant for clean rainwater. Most other discharges are illegal. If you suspect an illicit discharge, please contact Pasco County Department of Public Works at 727-834-3611.
Imagine